Our goals can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan in which we must fervently believe and upon which we must vigorously act. There is no other route to success. Pablo Picasso. We're officially approaching the last month of 2023, and I thought it was a good idea to talk about the importance of setting goals as artists. I will also be providing practical tips that will help you set your goals more efficiently so that you can increase your chances of actually reaching them. Setting goals is essential. Whether you're drawing or painting as a hobby and you're interested in taking your skills to a more proficient level, whether you're thinking of going pro and actually making some sort of income via your work at some point soon, or whether you've already started a business around your art and art skills and are looking to grow it. And I know that as artists and creatives, so many of us resist the goal setting process for one reason or another. Perhaps we love the idea of being free-flowing and not having any specific structure or routine and waiting until inspiration hits and just doing what we feel like doing on any given day. Or maybe the thought of filling in a calendar and keeping a weekly agenda and checking off daily tasks simply irks you. Or maybe you've had negative experiences in the past where you set goals for the new year but give up a few months in out of lack of time or general life overwhelm, which, by the way, usually happens when we don't set our goals correctly, and I'll talk more about this in just a bit. Perhaps you have ADHD or something else that makes it even more challenging for you to narrow things down and follow the typical planning tips offered by so many people out there. If this is the case for you and you've tried these things and they simply don't work for you, please don't worry. You can still make tons of progress towards your goals. There are YouTube channels that specialize on this kind of thing, and I'll make sure to link to a couple of videos that I found provided by people with ADHD in which they are sharing, based on their own experience, tips on how they manage their time. Finally, maybe like myself, you just find it scary and intimidating to set short or long-term goals because deep down you don't believe in yourself enough. Maybe you've had negative experiences in the past that have led to low self-esteem and you just not thinking that you deserve to have that goal or to reach that goal. You fear putting in tons of time and energy just to end up disappointing yourself as well as anyone who you let into your plans. This is something that I've deeply struggled with myself. I've had to do a lot of work on my mindset, and now I know that it's the wrong way of seeing it, because even if I don't reach my goals 100%, just by setting those goals and consistently working toward them a bit at a time, by the end of the year or whatever time frame I've set for myself, I'll have advanced my skills or my learning so much, and I'll be way closer to reaching my goal than where I would be if I hadn't even started working towards it. I started working on my goal setting and time management until my late 20s. Before that, I was just living my life in a very reactive way, just trying to survive the day, honestly, and really hating my life because I knew that I would wake up the next day and I would have to do everything all over again, just like a hamster stuck in a hamster wheel. And it was through starting to prioritize what I wanted and starting to work on my time management that my life slowly but surely improved, and I started being way happier. Slowly but surely, I showed myself that I actually had control over my life and I could reach those goals that I set for myself, and honestly had more time for the things that I did want to do. Through the years, I've learned a few things that I wanted to share with you, which will hopefully speed up your process so that you can reach whatever objectives you set for yourself more successfully and have a more joyful life in general, which is what I want for you. I want you to not only reach whatever artistic goals you set for yourself, but to actually enjoy what it's like to feel less stressed, less overwhelmed, less scattered, and to have time to do other things that bring you joy. Here are 3 reasons why goal setting is so important specifically for artists. Number 1, as creatives, most of us have multiple interests that call to us. It's so easy to fall into that shiny object syndrome, especially nowadays where we constantly have pictures and articles and videos thrown our way 24/7, and it's through setting specific objectives and constantly remembering our why that we'll be able to stay focused on what truly matters. If we don't have a North Star and a specific place that we wish to get to, we'll be constantly spinning our wheels, we'll be getting nowhere, or we'll be making very little progress or very slow progress in a multitude of different areas instead of deeper progress in just a few. The second reason why goal setting is super important for artists is because it'll make your learning journey way more enjoyable. Having a ton of things that you would like to work on in your brain the whole time leads you to feeling scattered and to unnecessary feelings of overwhelm and frustration. And whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it all, but you need to prioritize what you want to do first, what you want to do next. You can't do everything at once. If you have lots of different things that you would like to work on and you're wondering what you should prioritize first, think about what is going to give you the skills that are going to help you establish this solid foundation to jump off from so that you can then tackle that next thing. I'll be linking to a video down below where I talk about how to feel less scattered and overwhelmed as an artist. So if this is something that you're struggling with, make sure to check that one out. With our fast-paced lives, it can be hard to even allow ourselves the time required to get into flow and advance with one single drawing or painting medium. Add to that constant distractions during the day and that shiny object syndrome that I was talking about before. We may want to do a ton of different things, but we have to remember that we're only one person and there are only 24 hours in a day. We need to commit to doing specific things that will actually move the needle forward in those things that are most important right now. Otherwise, it's going to be super easy to get caught up in the noise and to get lost. And the third reason why it is so important for artists to set goals is because if we do it effectively, it'll help us avoid art block and burnout. Effective goal setting encourages us to make time for other important areas of our lives that we need to pay attention to, such as our mental and physical well-being. Our mental and physical well-being are so important. And if we're taking care of these things, we can increase our creative output and reach our goals sooner. So many times we think we're suffering from artistic burnout or block. And the root main reason why this is happening is because we're not taking good care of ourselves or we're ignoring other important aspects of our lives. If you're taking on too much, you're ignoring your health, and you're unwell, how can you really expect yourself to enjoy your art practice? Maybe we're not sleeping enough, we're not fueling ourselves with nutritious food, we're not moving our bodies, and we're not making time to enjoy other activities. It's so important to make time for these things as well as to nurture our important relationships, because all of this will impact how much you're able to create and whether you enjoy your time creating. I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay, and now we're getting into the good stuff. I'm going to be providing 7 practical tips that will help you set your goals more effectively. These are things that I always make sure to do that have helped me reach my goals slowly but surely, and I am now living a completely different life from the life that I was living before. Tip number 1. Work on your mindset alongside your cold technical skills. If you're overcome with self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and you just don't think you have it in you to reach your goals, or that you don't deserve to have that dream life that you envision, you simply won't be able to commit to your goals, or if you do, you'll easily give up with any roadblock that comes up. This is why it's imperative to continue working on your mindset alongside any cold technical artistic skills that you may wish to develop, or as you work toward any objective milestone that you wish to reach. Alongside this, and very importantly, allow yourself to dream big. Get excited for the things that you can achieve. So many of us don't allow ourselves to dream big, and we keep making excuses. All of this keeps us small, and we settle with what we have. And don't get me wrong, it's good to be thankful for everything that we have, but we're made to continue growing and developing and to do something with the unique gifts that we were given. We're meant to keep honing what we have, to continue becoming better versions of ourselves so that we can give more to those around us. This is how we honor ourselves and this beautiful gift of life. Tip number 2. Make sure that the goals that you set are your own. It can be so easy to copy friends, family members, or even influencers' goals. Don't do this. The goals you set have to come from within you. They have to be objectives that are actually meaningful to you and that have a solid why behind them. This is another reason why so many people give up. It's because the goals that they set are superficial and they came to them extrinsically from outer influences instead of intrinsically from within. When things get hard, which they will, of course you'll want to give up because the goal didn't really mean that much to you to begin with. Tip number 3. Before starting your list, reflect on what's gone well this last year and what you could improve. It's essential to make time to reflect on how things have gone this last year and also to think about what chapter in life you're currently in before starting with your goal setting. Did you set goals last year? If so, what went well and what did you struggle with? Did you find you set unrealistic goals for yourself, or do you find that you can probably do a bit more? Will you be having more or less time available for your art practice in 2024? Is there an area in your life that you found you were neglecting? Health, relationships, having fun, etc. This one has a lot to do with acknowledging the other life responsibilities you have going on and thinking about how your art practice can realistically fit into your own unique mishmash of daily tasks. Tip number 4, make sure that you're setting SMART goals. For those of you who haven't heard of SMART goals, SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. The first few times I attempted to set goals for the upcoming year, I totally failed. And it was because I didn't account for any of these things. The goals that I set were vague or too general. I wasn't breaking things down into doable tasks that I could make happen every week, and I wasn't making sure to measure my progress. Here are a few examples of what a SMART goal can look like for an artist. By mid-year, meaning June, I'll have filled up all 120 pages of this sketchbook with personal drawings and studies of figures and hands. By the end of 2024, I'll have completed 6 online courses offered by artists I admire to improve my drawings and paintings of landscapes and rural scenes. Here's another. Each month of 2024, I'll be producing 2 original watercolor paintings stemming from reference photos of still life arrangements that I create. All of these examples are specific because you're establishing what and how many. They are measurable, meaning you can actually count the pieces that you're going to be creating. They are achievable because you're accounting for what you can realistically do. They're relevant to one's own interests, meaning the subject and the medium are what you want to grow in, and they all have a specific time frame or a due date that you'll be done by. By setting these short-term or long-term SMART goals, you're then more easily able to break them down into doable tasks that you can get done each week. Tip number 5, make sure that you're setting goals in personal, interpersonal, and professional areas. As I said before, good goal setting takes into account not only things you want to reach for work or on a professional level, but also your health and your relationships. I like establishing goals in these 3 areas of my life every year. In the personal arena, I have all of those activities and things that I'll be doing for my mental and physical health. What I want to do each week to take care of my personal well-being, like eating nutritious food, exercising, journaling, making sure that I finish work by a certain hour in the day, any therapy sessions, meditation, etc. In the interpersonal field, I have my relationships with others. So what will I be doing each week or each month to nurture those relationships with the important people in my life? Examples of this could be having at least one date night with my husband every week, or seeing my friends at least once a month, or having dinner with my extended family at least twice a month, etc. The professional arena involves work things and hobbies that you want to take further. What do I want to learn and improve at? What are new classes, workshops, mentors that I can find in order to take this particular skill to the next level? What do I want to participate in this year, etc. Tip number 6, write your goals down. Did you know that if you write down your goals, there's a greater chance that you'll actually achieve them? This is because when we write things down, there's a greater chance that we'll actually remember these things because we're physically generating this visual cue, as opposed to just reading something or thinking about it once. This is why vision boards work so well for so many people, because you create these boards with a bunch of different visual cues that help you remember those goals that you have and that life that you're envisioning. And what's cool about vision boards as well is that they are made to be hung up on a wall or posted somewhere so that you can see them every day. And this keeps those goals in your mind. They stay in our minds even when we're not actively thinking about them. Not to mention, writing down your goals helps you visualize the future that you want to be living and helps you actually feel what it's like to have that thing or to be living that life. And this boosts your motivation and your excitement. I'll be linking to a couple of articles that explain in depth scientifically why writing your goals down can be so helpful. You can check those out down below. And the final tip is iterate, iterate, iterate. Every year, we're going to discover things that we need to fix or change in our goal setting methods. Establishing the goal setting method and even time management strategies that we're going to be using, it's not a one and done thing, but a constant iterative process. Plus, our lives and priorities also change over time. When the year is coming to an end, or at any point that you may feel it would be helpful to improve your strategy, feel free to make any changes you believe will help you work towards your goals with less stress and more joy. It's not about setting something and being super rigid about it and beating yourself up because you didn't reach certain milestones by the time that you initially thought you would. It's about valuing yourself enough to reflect on what you want, to prioritize what you want in life, and enjoying the process of slowly chipping away at it. Alongside this, just to finish up, I want to remind you that the purpose of setting goals is not necessarily to reach them 100% by that time that you set for yourself. It's to have a solid North Star that is meaningful for you and to constantly make progress toward that life that you want to be living. The simple act of reflecting, of establishing what's important to you and why, and setting small, doable tasks that you're going to make happen every day that will slowly help you move forward in that direction, that's what ultimately matters. Honor your vision and always give yourself grace, because life is challenging and it's messy, and things will always pop up that we cannot control. But this should not be a reason to set what you want for yourself aside. Think of yourself as the captain of this big, beautiful ship. You can't control the wind or the waves that move your ship toward one side or another, or one direction or another, but you can continue having that specific destination that you want to get to in mind so that you can continue steering the ship in that direction. Sometimes you're gonna go faster, other times you're gonna go slower, other times you're gonna be fighting to weather the storm and simply make it through. This is all a part of life. But if you keep going over time, you're going to get to a point at which you can step back and you can see the immense progress that you've made on your journey overall. And you're going to be so happy and so proud of yourself that you committed and you stayed consistent. Thank you so very much for listening today. I really hope that this was helpful and inspiring. If you have any thoughts or tips of your own, go ahead and leave them down below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. I wish you a wonderful rest of the year. Enjoy this holiday season, and I'll be seeing you very soon.